And it gets to very specifically, and I've had this conversation with so many people, like the previous generation, if you needed a roof done or work done, what do? You go to your family, friends,
Yep.
networks of people. Oh, I had so and so do theirs and I really like their work and I would totally recommend. You get younger generations and it's hard. This is the hard part for me to even grasp. They actually don't trust that recommendation because they think that you've got an agenda. You are setting
Yep.
yourself up with a friend or a family because that's jading your ability. So they will trust the computer more than they will trust their friends and family. That's a weird place to go, but that's why those 500 videos that you have are going to pay off in the long term. And it's one of the things that's going to revolutionize and is currently revolutionizing how we do business, even in the trades.
Yep.
Mm.
It has been a really big struggle for us, that exact like dilemma of our ideal customer is generally somebody who is 45 and older for roofing. Not necessarily for Proline, but for roofing it has been. So we have not been great at getting referrals the whole time we've been in business. We haven't tried. We've been like funnel driven, not necessarily social media, but there's online presence, SEO, that kind of thing. And we never had a referral. Like we're working with Brad Akers right now, and he's helping us with like the flywheel. So we continue to work on getting more referrals because that's our ideal customer. But I've been treating this like how I want to buy. I've been selling how I want to. I'll be 40 this year, but I've been treating my business how I want to buy, and that's I'm not my ideal customer. So like it's just a lesson for people. Don't don't just sell how you want to be sold to. You need to actually always identify who your ideal customer is. And it's definitely a mistake that we made. So we're going to correct that this year and get better at getting referrals, because it's not going to change. The cost of owning a home, the cost of repairing a home is just astronomical. So generally people that are 45 and older are going to be able to afford our services because we're a premium roofing contractor. So that is a very good insight from what we've identified though.
But it's so interesting to hear from your perspective too. And again, I mean, there's 10 years difference, but you look at, what you've grown up with and what I've grown up with. And like when I left college, I still didn't own a computer. And I was a computer science major for 2.5 years in college, and I switched my major before graduating, but like nobody had a computer. I mean, and if we did, it was just a great big clunky thing that really barely works. But um, it's fun to go back and think about how I grew up and what I experienced and now what's being produced by this next generation of technology.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It is an interesting world we live in. I feel like the key through all of it is to be a human first, and then whatever, then participate with the technology, then create content. If you do it the other way around, it starts getting real not good. If you're a content creating human, that's all you are. But if you could be a human first and then a content creator, or a human first and then someone and then the technology comes next.
Yeah. And man, have fun
Get the
with
right
it. I mean,
priority.
if you can't have fun, just it's tough when it becomes a job or if it feels like it comes to be a job. I mean, some people are just really good at it and are very savvy on online, but man, I do. I have fun with it. One of my favorite things to do is, it might sound, you know, uh egocentric, but I do enjoy opening up, Facebook and looking in the history and what was I doing a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. Man, it's been like 10 or 12 years ago now. It's fun to see where I was, where I used to be, and laughing at something that's stupid that I said or wrote, or being embarrassed by something that I said or wrote.
That is
Agreed. Agreed.
absolutely.
I mean, it's wild to think. You talk about nobody had a computer when you graduated college. I only got a cell phone because my house burned down my senior year of high school. I didn't, I mean, we didn't have cell phones, but then it wasn't a smartphone. And it's like that world changed in a weird way. And I grew up, I'm on that edge where we didn't have internet when I grew up, and then we had internet, and there wasn't Facebook. And then Facebook was just for universities. It's EDU. And then like that. So I'm on that, like the edge of like, I see kind of both sides of people using the yellow pages legitimately. Like at the first roofing company I ever worked for, they were still putting out yellow page ads and they were proud of it in the yellow pages. And like, obviously that's gone away now. It's just, it's a weird, you have to be willing. I mean, it's changing so fast too, because we don't even know what's going to happen in the next 3 years in this space. Like it's going to, there were years and years and years where it didn't really change a lot. And now it's like, well, now if you're not putting it, I mean, you could just pay for Google pay per click and like get leads and be fine. And now it's like such a weird thing. And then the Google local service ads, it's the same way. I was like the first one to get LSA on my market. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. And now that's gone. Now that's gone. Like now what's next? Like it's an interesting thing of how you have to be always changing and learning.
Well, the first several years that I was a company owner, so I started hand nailing 3-tab shingles on salt domes around the country in 1992. So by the time I started my own company, late 90s, early 2000s, first 3 years, I still didn't have a cell phone. We like the pager, we had a beeper, and different people on the crew would have different codes that they would put in there. Like I always knew who was paging me by they would put a phone number in and then a code behind it. I don't know if you guys even remember any of this stuff, but
I do.
this is how we this is how we
watched
did business.
I watched videos about it on the History Channel.
Thank you.
Sorry, that I couldn't resist that one.
So let me challenge you with something like that, because I do want to talk about this, because we used to talk about this quite a bit when my first few years at GAF, is that the technology actually started making us inefficient. So some of the guys that were doing a crazy amount of business back in those days swore that once they got the cell phones and it was the demand of the consumer was becoming instant, and so it divided your ability to actually accomplish your projects. And so despite having more and more complexity in the technologies, now maybe that has changed, and that's why I kind of want to bring it up. Maybe that's changed again, because now the CRMs are becoming so much more streamlined and efficient that it's becoming more efficient again. But there was a good window of 10 years where people could not produce the month they used to because they were so distracted by phone calls that they'd never been I mean, you leave the house, you leave the office, you don't answer the phone or make a phone call until you get back to the office that night. The amount of work that you're able to get done in the course of a day has changed significantly over that time period.
Yep. Protecting your time now is like a big thing.
Huge thing.
Blocking your time. Like it's all because of technology. You didn't have to do that before. You could just leave the house. Hey, I'm going somewhere. If you need me, I'll see you in 8 hours, whatever it is.
I'll be back at 8. Yeah.
It was like, it was weird for people to even think about that right now. But like, it's all about like not using technology so that you can be efficient. Just like exactly what you're saying is like, it's a weird thing now. And I find myself every single day having to fight the urge to respond to help somebody right then who needs an answer right that moment. It's like, it's constant. It's probably right now as we're doing it. My phone's probably blowing up right now. And it's just like, you got to just learn to figure it out, guys. Like everybody, you can't just like people in general, they just can't problem solve anymore.